Texas Education Agency Commissioner Mike Morath sent a letter to schools across Texas promising swift action against educators who post inappropriate comments on social media about the killing of Charlie Kirk. Several school districts and universities have reported firing employees afterward. What are your thoughts on this committee? Now is the time to join the conversation on Hello Houston at 713-440-8870.
I told you yesterday I thought that the social media problems that we're having were going to have to be fixed with laws. Because otherwise, and I don't really know how you do that, but policing it is not going to work if it's self-police. It's just not.
And the question then becomes, when we're looking at free speech and Second Amendment and social media and posting, how it all works together, and different people within different industries, how they're held to certain different levels of accountability and what they can say and who gets to decide what is appropriate, what is inappropriate based on those different industries. It's a very complex situation, and we are entering new times. I mean, this has been coming for a while, but now we are in a place where people are losing their jobs over things that they're saying.
I question that. Ernie was saying yesterday, we have a freedom of speech in this country. And if you are not representing your employers, should you have the right to say whatever you want to say? Or are you always representing your employer in some way?
Well, it's interesting because what if you're a small business owner and you own small businesses within a community and you're well-veered and you put your political beliefs out there, and people there might be a backlash to that.
That's happened in the city.
That's happened. We've seen it in different times.
Sure. Yeah. And, you take a stance on whatever it is, and you say, I'm not going to bake a cake for these people, or I'm not going to invite these people into my restaurant for whatever reason. Then, yes, it gets out there, and you may have that right. But business owners are a little different. You're taking a chance when you take a political stance. Right. When I question if educators have to be held to the same standard.
Now a story about someone who lost their job for honoring late conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Benny Ray Harmony, a popular local news anchor at WICS ABC 20 in Springfield, Illinois, resigned after being suspended for delivering a tribute to the late conservative activist Charlie Kirk during a live newscast.
When conversations stop happening, when individuals become wordless, that's when violence begins. So, if you do one thing today, make it be with passion, with conviction. Stand up for your friends, stand up for your beliefs, and speak loudly, even if your voice shakes.
Following the tribute, the channel suspended Harmony, a decision that led her to announce her immediate resignation on social media. In her statement on X, formerly Twitter, she said, quote, "Many in the mainstream media have been fired or punished for mocking his assassination. I believe I'm the first to be targeted for honoring him on air," end quote. She emphasized that her resignation was rooted in her refusal to compromise on essential personal values of faith and love of country to retain her job. What are your thoughts on her on-air comments? Heartfelt or unprofessional? Call us at 713-440-8870. I just want to say I think we're having a little trouble with our phone lines there. Folks are trying to get through right now. So text us or also comment in the YouTube channel.
Or you can also send us an email, talk@hellohouston.org. We are trying to get our phone lines up and running. I think we are having some issues. Yeah. It's interesting looking at this anchor that was on, in commercial television. I have questions, and not necessarily, I have questions because just not from the content perspective of what she was saying, just from a work perspective. Did she go rogue? Did she run this by, we have processes in our work industry where we have meetings where we discuss what we're going to be talking about. Did she run this by somebody before going out and or did she go rogue? That's when you're in news, you can't just have a moment and take over something if you haven't run it by your team.
There's a line in the film Sunset Boulevard where they say something to the effect of, people forget there are writers. They think the actors just open up their mouths and make up their dialogue. And the point is, when you are representing an organization, be it Houston Public Media or ABC News or Channel 2, there is a group of people that craft the show you are doing. Now, we as commentators on this show, after we launch into topics, share our opinions and thoughts that aren't written out, but we know what we're talking about. We know what's been decided upon ahead of time. When you take a personal stance, like you say, was this something decided? Was it something that the news director was aware of, or the producer of the cast?
Her executive producer. Yeah. We have chains of command almost that are looking at this. We have multiple eyes that look at what we're going to be talking
Anybody
about
on the public square. That's media. What is different is if you take to your own personal, if you are talking among your own group as yourself, as opposed to the person who is paying you as an entity, as a spokesperson for that organization, I think there are different rules that apply.
Especially television news. You don't get out
what,
there.
What do you know about that, Frank?
I think she absolutely went a little rogue. And if you're going to go rogue, don't go rogue on such a hot topic. It's just...
Well, I think some people would think that this is exactly the type of topic that you go rogue for.
Because then you'll be noticed.
Denise mentions in the YouTube chat, she says, were the reporter's comments announced as an editorial piece? And that's another piece of the puzzle. How was it couched? What were we expecting as an organization for this person to say?
We did receive a text that says heartfelt and unprofessional.
Well, Jen in Clear Lake says certain jobs have always had restrictions on what people say, including teachers. However, now it's not just an employer making rules for employees. We have elected politicians shutting down the free speech of citizens. That seems like an amendment violation.
And for the record, she did not lose her job. She after being suspended, she resigned.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, which I think perhaps she knew she was going to.
No, that tells me the employer came and said, here are your options. You can be fired or you can resign.
You decide.
Yes, you decide. One maybe comes with severance, the other doesn't.
Right.
So,
and also, when you're looking for another job, one looks a lot better on a resume.
Well, you pick your battles. She picked her battle. She probably sincerely thought that she was the voice of reason in all of this, that she wasn't taking a lot of stances which were against Charlie Kirk for whatever reason. She felt like she was just trying to maybe mend something, but that's not her role as an anchor person. That's just, stick to the news unless you're an editorialist. Right. And there are editorialists on television. And our show, Hello Houston, at the end says that we're responsible for what we say, and it doesn't necessarily reflect the opinions of management here.
And when we come and sit down, we are, at the end of the day, journalists. We're looking at information and we are discussing it from a perspective that we want to make sure our ultimate place on Hello Houston is where Houston talks. We're bringing perspectives. We invite other people into the conversation.